Welcome to the Bear Talk, your go-to Chicago Bears podcast, where a father and son break down all things Bears. From Soldier Field to Sunday showdowns, I'm your host here, Dylan Weaver, and as always, joined here with my dad. But this week in the rematch against the Packers, we brought on another one of my good buddies from high school, Jack. He is a diehard Packers fan. He always has been. And I believe now, too, you're up in Wisconsin, closer to your team. So thanks for coming on, man. It'll be interesting to get another Packers perspective. I know we had my two buddies on here last time we played the Packers, but good to see your perspective of the Packers. And why don't you just kick us right off? Give us your thoughts on the Packers season so far, what you think, what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah. So I'm Jack, originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I did grow up down in Illinois. So that's how I became friends with Dylan. But I did move back up here last couple years. Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of an up and down season for us. Obviously, like I was as high as could be, like just with the Micah trade just before the season. And they came out so strong those first 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, that was probably the peak of the season, honestly. Obviously had some down moments throughout the rest of it, but definitely nothing as disappointing and devastating as that Micah injury last week. The season is not over, but it definitely just got a whole lot more difficult. They got a lot to figure out. Not just the talent that, Micah brings individually, but the way he elevates the play of everyone else around him. It's going to be a big challenge for this defense. But I mean, I have reason to believe that, this team should still be able to compete, and put themselves in a position to compete in the playoffs. And that starts with finding a way to win this week in Chicago, because whoever wins this matchup is in all likelihood going to end up taking the division. And I think that's an important step for us, going into the season, pushing the chips in with Micah. The prior 2 seasons, we've been the 7th seed, but we haven't yet won the division with Jordan, and haven't had a home playoff game. So that's really the expectation for me. And again, that starts with getting a win in Chicago Saturday, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said. I really think, it kind of reminds me of how your season started. It was kind of like the Bears when we got Khalil Mack. It was like when you get that trade, that big time blue chip player over to your team, it's like you're just head over heels ready for the season to start. And Micah Parsons did exactly what you expect. I mean, he's got the most pressures in the NFL. He gets sacks. He's a game time player. When you need him to make plays, he's going to go and close a game for you. And obviously, I will speak for Bears fans. I've seen a very small majority of people rooting that happened. But I promise you, the majority of us do not wish that upon any player. I'd rather play a team at full strength. Yes, does it benefit the Bears now? Yeah, but that's football. Injuries happen, but I would never wish injuries. So prayers out to Micah and his family. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him. But yeah, it's definitely, I agree. I was nervous coming into this game because you guys already beat us at your home field, and now all the pressure's on us to defend our home field. And not having Micah, it takes a huge weight off your shoulder as a Bears fan, because we all saw the game. Caleb was running for his life, and the second half, yes, Caleb started doing his magical stuff that he did in college, dropping dimes and everything on the run, but Micah was single-handedly just wrecking our offensive line almost on every drop-back pass. And I think that's why you saw in the second half Ben Johnson do a lot of play action, rollouts on the run, to kind of move Caleb's, launch point. But not having Micah, I mean, I don't know, Dad, you can give your thoughts about the whole Micah injury, but I think that's a great point to start with the show because, we touched on our post-game show a little bit last week, but I mean, it wasn't fully confirmed yet, but it pretty much was set that he tore his ACL. Anytime you see those non-contact injuries, they are pretty scary.
Yeah, I would tell you, like, I've been high on the Bears all year, and even preseason, I was like, oh, they're going to win it all. The Bears are great. And then the Packers pull off that miracle signing of Micah Parsons, and I'm like, oh, no, there goes all of my hopes and dreams. Because he is a phenomenal player. I mean, how Jerry Jones let him go, I don't know. And granted, who knows what all that deal was going on with him and Jerry's world. But, kudos to the Packers pulling it off and getting it done. But I was watching the game the night it happened, and I was like, oh, no, that's not good. I mean, especially a non-contact injury. You never want to see – you want no one ever to be injured. But two, when you're an athlete or just individually, you just don't want to see people get hurt for no reason. So, I mean, that's a rough one for the Pack. I mean, that's going to be tough. I mean, am I excited that we don't have to face them? Yes, naturally. But I hate to see him hurt like that. That was pretty bad, especially when he went down and you knew right away. Like, as soon as it happened, I don't even know if you were watching the game at all, Dill, but I texted him. I'm like, Parsons, ACL, he's donezo. And then the reports came out the next day, but it is what it is. He'll speedy recovery. They'll put some stem cell therapy into him, a little nanotechnology, and he'll come back next year as good as new.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a Christmas party with my work during the games, and I didn't get to. The worst part is there was such a good NFL slate last week after the Bears game, and both the Packers and Lions are playing, and I'm like, I can't watch any of this. And I remember you sending me that text, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way. And you just got to, I do, as much as I'm not a Packers fan and I hate them, I will say I do feel bad for you guys. You went from Tucker Kraft tearing his ACL, which he was having an insane season, probably would have finished tight end 1 the season he was projecting and the pace he was on in the NFL. He tears his ACL, and then you have Micah, the non-contact one. Like, those are two, I would say those are definitely top 5. Like, if you go through Packers this year, like just top 5 players, it's probably Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, Tucker Kraft. Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
Zach Tom too. I mean, Zach, he's been battling all year.
Yeah, and then on top of it, like we'll go through the injury report. That's usually how we start our pregame shows. We'll go through the rest of them, but there is a laundry list for the Packers. And I will say, as a Bears fan, we feel your pain because literally up until the last 2 weeks, that is what the Bears injury report has looked like all season. They actually released, I was about to say, they literally released a stat on Twitter. The Bears have the most people out, like coming into the game, being ruled out at 429 coming into this week, which is actually insane. But it makes sense because we go over our injury reports every pregame, and me and my dad always joke, we're like, and the Bears are here with a laundry list because literally it is top to bottom, and it's what the Packers looks like this week. And it's part of football. And like you said, Dad, I wish it wasn't part of it. It'd be nice. Just same thing with my weather take. I wish we could have perfect weather all the time and no injuries and just play get the best of both teams.
Gary, Indiana, baby. Here we come.
No.
Big dome in the smog.
We are not even going to entertain that during Packers week like Kevin Warren did. That is insane. That's a whole nother podcast for another time.
Insane. I opened my email because he sends out the email, and I'm like, Gary or Indiana Explorer. I'm like, what isn't it Packers week? What are we even doing?
Yeah, not the time for it, and it's not going to settle well. I mean, it isn't setting well with Bears fans. Yeah. I mean, that's the last thing this team needs, and especially in a year that's so positive. It'd be different if the Bears were talking about having the number 1 pick again for 3 years in a row, but we're a good team. There's no need for this stadium update. Kevin Warrett's done it. The night we drafted Caleb Williams, he talked about it before Caleb got drafted, trying to steal the thunder. He was in week 1 in Minnesota in the press box with the broadcasters talking about it. And here we are, Packers week, and we're talking about it again. Stop bringing this stuff up in big-time moments. It's ridiculous. The fans have a lot to cheer for this year, and Kevin Warren is ruining it. Like, enough with the bull crap. I hate it. But let's jump in. Let's go through the injury report here. We can start with the Packers, and Jack, you can fill us in. I'll just go through what their status is now, and okay. I'm sure you probably know a little bit more of if they're likely or not to play, and you can kind of go through that. But I'll just read through the list. It's a lot of people, but I'll start from the top. You got Chris Brooks, a running back, dealt with a chest injury, was a limited participant all week. He's questionable. Looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. Brenton Cox, same thing. Kingsley Engabari, he plays linebacker, doesn't he?
He's an edge rusher.
Okay, edge rusher, yeah. He's going to be questionable as well. Josh Jacobs dealing with that knee injury still. He's going to be questionable. Darian Kennard, one of your guys' offensive tackle, dealing with a neck injury, was a limited participant all week. He's questionable. Marshawn Lloyd has been ruled out. I think you guys just put him back on IR, if I'm not mistaken. Colin Oliver, another one of your guys' D-end, he is ruled out with a hamstring injury. Zach Tom, your guard, who, by the way, like you were saying, he could be a huge loss. I just read a stat. He has not given up one sack this season. He is questionable. Christian Watson dealing with that shoulder injury. He's questionable as well. Josh Wiley, the tight end, he's out with a concussion. Dontavian Wicks, he is questionable as well. And then Evan Williams, questionable as well. And then one of your other guards, looks like a backup, though, John Williams, he's going to be out with a back injury. But if you kind of just want to go through, what maybe some of the starters that you think might play, like just go through the starters you think are going to play that are questionable right now, and maybe some that you're less likely that you don't think are going to be playing in this game.
Yeah, it's a long list for sure. So last I heard, it sounds like Evan Williams and Zach Tom are going to be out. Those are definitely going to be big losses. And it also sounds like Josh Jacobs is doubtful, so probably can't count on him suiting up Saturday. Yeah, I mean, I've had concerns all year about the O-line. It just really hasn't been what we're used to in Green Bay. Typically, we're always super solid there. But we've been really banged up. Zach Tom's been battling all year. We lost Elton Jenkins. Those are probably our two best offensive linemen. And we just haven't gotten the production out of our young guys. First round pick Jordan Morgan hasn't been what we expected him to be. So I definitely have some major concerns about the O-line, and especially if Jacobs isn't going to go either. Running the ball is going to be significantly harder. And then, I mean, I think Watson is probably the most important name that you listed there. He's just been so good for us, especially against, the Bears in the past. And he just brings it, an element of speed to be able to attack defenses that, we don't really have elsewhere. I mean, I think, if he can't go, the next man up speed-wise is probably Matthew Golden, but definitely not to the level of Christian Watson. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Thankfully, with Watson, I think the reports were that he avoided major structural damage. So it sounds like it might be more of a pain tolerance thing. Given the stakes of the game, I am expecting him to go, but it does sound like it's going to be a game time decision.
Yeah, no, and honestly, as big of a loss as Micah is, if Watson doesn't play in this game, I almost feel like it's the same impact. And not only what he did to us 2 weeks ago with the 2-touchdown performance, but I will say ever since he has come back, that is kind of your guys' offense was kind of struggling for a little bit. Like you guys were barely getting over 16, like struggling to score 16 points. As soon as he came back, he takes the top off of defenses. You have to respect his speed, which opens up. And I think that's hence why we started to see Josh Jacobs do a little bit better too these past couple games is the safeties are having to back up. They're not able to fill the box. And Josh Jacobs is obviously, you're getting more favorable numbers in the box than you guys have been. So I think that's why Josh Jacobs has started to shine a little bit here in this past month. So Watson is definitely, I feel like he's obviously outside if Jordan Love was hurt or something, but I think Christian Watson is that offensive piece, especially in this game, because Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator, does like to run a lot of man-to-man. And, with that type of speed, if you get caught and you're not jamming him at the line of scrimmage, and then on top of it, if our pass rush isn't getting pressure, that's a home run shot almost every time. And we saw it. Both of his touchdowns were 50-something yards against us. And one was literally a 5-yard slant route. That should never happen. But when you're having to send the blitz, and it's all cover zero, and you don't jam a guy at the line of scrimmage with his speed, you're asking for a nightmare to happen. And hopefully Dennis Allen makes those adjustments this week. And I said this after the game, I mean, I not that I'm not taking any shots at your receivers, but the plan should be simply double safety over the top wherever Watson is,
Yeah,
and let everyone
absolutely.
else beat you one-on-one. It's not that hard. Like Romeo Doubs, yeah, he's got good hands. Matthew Golden had a good promising game last week. He's kind of been up and down, dealing with injuries with him as well. But I'll take our chances with that instead of letting Watson run burner routes and give Jordan Love his specialty of throwing off his back foot. And props to him, he throws dimes. He literally, he got paid off a couple times last week, picked off. But those were also that one pick by Patrick Surtain was incredible. He literally jumped the ball. It was, I mean, Jordan Love could have led Watson a little bit better, but it's still, I really wouldn't put it ball placement. I would just say it was a better defensive play. But if Watson, I would expect Watson to play too, like you said. I mean, it's a big game. It's not like you guys have a game lead or something. You guys could kind of maybe afford to, lose this one. It's the way the NFC is lined up right now, and this Detroit's trying to sneak in the back door right now. Both teams need this win more than anything, and I will definitely expect him to push it. It'll just be interesting to see once he gets tackled because, not that players play dirty, but they know when people are coming in with injuries, what they are. They're going to tackle him and make sure they're landing their body weight on his shoulder. And you never know. It could be one of those he takes, and the next thing you know, I can't, and I'm nothing against Christian Watson, but I think you can agree to this too, Jack. He is kind of injury prone and deals with
absolutely.
He deals with injuries all the time. So
yeah, Watson's had some injury struggles for sure. We just got him back mid-year from the ACL, which happened against the Bears week 18 last year. But yeah, thankfully we avoided major injury this time.
Because it did sound like the initial reports did sound like it was going to be him and Micah probably gone for the season.
Yeah. He went to the hospital before the game even ended. They sent him to check. He got a chest X-ray for broken ribs, but thankfully that came back okay.
Yeah, those injuries where they're at the hospital are scary. We had one earlier with DJ Moore earlier this year. Forget what game it was, but we were on an away game, and literally after the game, they shipped him he didn't even fly back on the team
Washington
plane.
Game, Commanders.
Yeah, which it was weird because he finished the game, but then they sent him to the hospital for precautionary measures, and he didn't even get on the plane home. That's how bad it was, but he ended up playing the next week. So, I mean, DJ Moore is a little exaggerated, I will say, when it comes to his injuries. He makes it seem like he tore his ACL. Next thing you know, he's running in the next play. So you never know with him. But, yeah, like you said, it's a lot of injuries. And, the Packers are definitely going to have to come up with a good game plan, I believe. I mean, both coaches really do have to. But I think Jeff Hafley's got a lot more on his plate this week, especially, you could say, too, the Packers practiced pretty much all training camp without Micah because that trade happened literally like the week before the season started. So they know how to play without him. But as I kind of stated in the last pregame episode, my thing with the Packers is I think they brought in Micah to cover up for your guys as cornerbacks because
Absolutely.
I think your cornerbacks outside, I'd say Valentine, he's pretty decent. And then obviously Xavier McKinney, he's one of the best safeties in the league. But other than that, you can kind of take advantage where you want. And I thought they brought in Micah to cover up some of that. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe now Jeff Hafley turns into a little bit of Dennis Allen. He sends some extra people blitzing. But before we hop into the offensive scheme stuff, let's go over the Bears injury report real quick. It's pretty short and sweet, but two big guys just right off the bat, Luther Burden and Rome Odunze both out. Sounds like Rome might be getting saved for the playoffs. At least that's what the Bears are hoping for. Ben Johnson addressed it earlier this week in his press conference and said, we might have to save Rome from himself because they don't want it to get worse with that stress fracture in his foot. Unless the Bears lose this game, if the Bears win, I think Rome might sit out and just wait till the playoffs start because you just want to make sure Rome's there come playoff time and he's in the healthiest shape as possible. And then Luther Burden got carted off the field last week late in the game against Cleveland with that ankle injury. He didn't practice all week. He's out as well. And then our backup linebacker, Amen Ogbenbingba, he has a hamstring injury and he was a limited participant on the final day of practice, but he ultimately got ruled out. And then 4 people game time decisions. Cole Kmet is a game time decision. He was a full participant Thursday, so I think he told reporters today too he's playing. Cole Kmet's a hometown kid, went to St. Viator, and he knows what this means. Kind of like Watson, I think they're both going to suit up. I think Cole Kmet's going to suit up. And then the big news: Tremaine Edmonds. He's sat out his 4 games on IR, and this was his week back. He practiced all week and was a full participant the final day. I think he's going to go as well. DeAndre Swift popped up late on the injury report with a groin injury. And then Joy Tryon-Shoyinka, the guy we picked up in the middle of the season from the Browns, he is doing with a non-injury related personal issue, so he is questionable as well. So we'll see what happens with the Bears. I'll let you talk about this, Dad. What do you really think this impact is, not having Luther Burden and Rome Odunze in this game?
It's like asking Jack, what's the impact of not having Micah Parsons?
Okay, it's not that severe. Let's relax.
Big.
It's big, but it is not the equivalent of Micah
sure.
Parsons.
Not that big, but
it's not as big of a out, but it is massive. It definitely is.
If Loveland and Kmet can play, and hopefully, I know Swift's banged up a little bit, but Monangai will be okay. And then what's his name? Zacchaeus.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to step in if big time.
He's gonna have to definitely step up and fill the gap. But Luther hasn't been big all year long. It's only been the last few games.
He's starting to heat up. Yeah,
that's what I said. The last few games. This is when he's he did the funky trick move and spun around in the last game and ran for extra yards. So definitely, he's been an impact player the last few games. But I think if you look at the season overall as a whole,
he
hasn't been.
Yeah, I'll say his season definitely hasn't been as good, but that's because he really wasn't getting the opportunity. With Rome getting hurt, he's honestly filled. I would say Rome's had some good games, but Luther's led our team in receptions every game the past 3 games. This guy is starting to come onto the scene, and seeing him out, I mean, I was really confident coming to this game, and it's starting to waver down a little bit because it's same thing too, like you said, Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland, they have to play a big game, but Cole Kmet is also going to be fighting through this game with an ankle injury as well.
Yep.
You never know. He takes one hard hit. Now, all of a sudden, you're down to Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, and Zacchaeus. So, and then on top of it, too, DeAndre Swift, he's been dealing with this groin injury all year, practice all week, and then Thursday ultimately was a limited participant. It popped back up. So, which DeAndre Swift has never – he's fought through it. He's only missed 1 game in Cincinnati, and Monangai, that was kind of his rookie breakout game. He had like over 200 rushing yards in that game, but – that's the Bengals defense. We're talking about the Green Bay Packers. And yeah, without Micah Parsons, that's still a tall task for Kyle Monangai, especially too, DeAndre Swift's a threat in the passing game where Monangai, we've seen it already now the past couple of weeks. He keeps dropping screen passes that are right in his chest because he's too busy about looking up field first. So I don't know, man. A couple injuries in the game early. If it happens to the Bears, this game will be pretty evened up. It's just going to be the battle of, durability and whose backups are going to come and rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, though, for us this week, as long as we don't have 5 minutes before the game starts and we find out a key player is going to be out for the game, I mean, that's a little ridiculous. And then I know we're talking injury report, but we got to factor in something else, the weather tomorrow. I know it's not going to be as cold as the game with the Browns, but it's still going to be a low of 15 degrees tomorrow, and you are going to have 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. So that could be a factor in there as well, although we have seen that Caleb can throw through wind. So it'll be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting.
I'll say, though, too, Jordan Love, as much as I didn't really believe him in years prior, this year he has shown that he is legit. He can play at a very high level. And don't sit there and shake your head. He's a good player.
I'm shaking it because that deep ball accuracy you have is insane.
Yeah, and I was about to say, the Bears and Packers, this is the prime weather they're used to playing in. Like, this is what it's about. I don't think it's really going to bother any offense. I think they're still going to run their offenses just fine. Just like the Bears do, the Packers practice outside too. So it's probably even colder up in Wisconsin. It's farther up north. So they'll be ready to go. And Jordan Love, it's not like this is his first year getting used to the cold. He's been there now 6 years. He's ready to go. He knows what it's like to play in these games. So I think both offenses are going to be able to have their whole playbook at disposal. It's still going to be fine. But yeah, another cold one for sure. But the Bears players will probably love it because last week it was about 40 degrees with the wind chill. It was about 40 degrees colder. And even in some of those mic'd up things that came out this week, even Colson Loveland was sitting there. He's like, oh, yeah, this is bad. Like, this is cold. It was just funny to hear some of them. But, I mean, when it's negative 30 degrees out there with wind chill, I mean, that is brutal to play in. And they're all out there acting Mr. Tough Guy with no sleeves on. But you know they're freezing. But let's transition into here a little bit. Let's just Jack, you can kick us off too. We'll get your perspective as well. We like to do kind of we'll start this way. We'll start with how you want let's start with this because I think you know the plan for the offense. It's going to be Jordan Love airing the ball out. He's going to have to play a good game. But against our offense against your defense, what do you think are some adjustments the Packers need to make without Micah heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hafley definitely has his work cut out for him. He's going to have to find, new ways to generate pressure. And I am worried about that because that was a major issue in our defense last year. I mean, I think if you look at our defense as a whole, they maybe didn't perform bad last year, but generating pressure was definitely one of them. And I think that's a big reason why we did bring in Micah. Yeah, I mean, I like Hafley a lot. I think he's going to be able to figure it out. But like I said earlier, it definitely gets a lot more difficult. I need Rashawn Gary to play like the player that he's paid to be. He is not, I mean, his sack numbers, I believe, are up this year. I think that's mostly a result of, the attention that Micah brings. But yeah, I mean, also like, I think you just gotta contain Caleb as best as you can. Obviously we saw that playmaking ability on display week 14. And then I guess my other concern would just be that the Bears, control the line of scrimmage and run the ball like they did in that week 14 matchup in the second half. The time of possession was completely lopsided and, our defense was just gassed out there. And part of that's going to fall on the offense. Like I'm going to need to see, some slow, methodical drives, keep possession of the ball, give your defense a chance to, stay fresh because it's not going to be an easy task.
Yeah. I mean, I from the Bears perspective, I agree. Like, I do think that the challenges for Ben Johnson are going to be, you have film for last year on this defense and what Jeff Hafley did without Micah, but he ain't going to call something that he did last year. He's going to come up with a new game plan. At least I think he's actually a very good defensive coordinator for you guys. I mean, he's getting talks about getting head coaching offers after this year. So I just think Ben Johnson has got to come out with a game plan fast. It can't be, we're adjusting mid-game. And if it is, it's got to be you're adjusting after a drive because the key to the Bears and this victory offensively is, I'm not even going to lie either. If the Bears win the coin toss tomorrow, take the ball first. Literally, take the ball first because you know what the Bears game plan, Ben Johnson's game plan should be this. Exactly like you said, pound the ball methodically, take time off the possession. And the reason I want Ben Johnson to take the ball first in this game, I know the whole thing, it's better to defer and get the ball in the second half. No, not in games like this. With Micah now being out, if you guys get the ball first and Jordan Love, even if he goes down there and gets a field goal, the defense is like, okay, we're playing with the lead. We can play a little loose, more free. If the Bears take this ball first and go score right on the opening possession, this Packers defense is going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, we miss Micah. And it can already start downhill real quick. And that's why I pray when I turn this game on tomorrow, we get to see the coin toss. I'm sure we will since it's a primetime game. And I want to see that the Bears are getting the ball first and chose to take the ball first because I seriously think, and I think the same thing. I think if the Packers win the coin toss, I think you guys should do the same exact thing because if Jordan Love can go down there, give your defense a lead, it'll help them play a lot more comfortably. I think whoever scores first in this game is going to be a major factor in this outcome. I really do believe that.
It does scare me, though, if we do win the toss and we take the ball first and
go 3-and-out, yeah.
Score. Then we're really doomed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And, speaking of opening drives, too, with Ben Johnson, I love him. He's obviously a great offensive play caller. And I don't know what the stat is on this season, but it's a lot to a little. He opens the game almost every game with the play-action pass. Enough. I'm sick of seeing it. We've seen it takes Caleb some time to settle in. Just pound the football. I don't care if we get 2 yards on the first play. Just pound it first. Like he opens up the game so many times with a play action pass, and it just does not. 9 times out of 10, it really doesn't work, and that's why the past 4 games we've been 3-and-out all 3 times. It's just not the Bears' bread and butter at this moment is their offensive line and pounding the football. That is the Bears' main identity on offense. And I do not want to see it open up with some, okay, let's get a little too cute play action off the bat. No. What we should do in the first half is pound the football and run play action off of it later in the game when they're thinking we're going to just keep pounding the clock. Then you take those kill shots over the top. I think Ben Johnson will come into this game and do that. I think he is going to establish that line of scrimmage pretty early, but I swear I do not want to. I don't even care if it's a 20-yard completion on the first play, a play action pass. I do not want to see it off the bat. I don't. I want to see the ball handed off to Swift, preferably Monangai, and let him and who was it last time run head at each other? Yeah, just let them run. Let's set the tone early. Let's just let them run at each other head on in the A gap.
He runs hard, man. I really liked what I saw in that Week 14 matchup from Monangai.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit of a chess match early on, and I think it's really going to be the key of the game because with the Packers defense and Ben Johnson's offense, out of Hafley and Ben Johnson, who's going to be ahead of the curve early in the game? Because if the Bears get off to a hot start, I could see this game getting really out of control. But if Hafley can kind of keep the Bears offense stalled out, I think the Packers are in good shape. I hate to say that, but yeah, this game just is as big as it gets. And it's what the Bears-Packers should be, and I'm glad it's finally here. It's not the Bears just playing meaningless football games against you guys. And then last year, we win, and it's like, wow, okay, yeah, it feels good. We got the Packers off our back, but they're going to the playoffs. We're going home. Yeah, this is what it should be. Yeah. The Bears and the Packers should be at the top of the division, and these games should mean this much in December. And heck, it's probably going to mean a lot come January too in the playoffs. So
absolutely, yeah, we might be on a collision course for a 2-7 matchup. We'll see, but yeah. And the other thing is, we haven't had many years, at least in our lifetime, Dylan, where the Bears and the Packers have been good, competitive at the same time.
Yeah.
Not really. When we do get it, it's usually not for consecutive years. But I do think that there is some reason to believe that we're going to have meaningful matchups for at least the next couple years here. So
yeah,
that's exciting.
I would even extend it to it really depends. How old is Jordan Love again?
I think he just turned 27.
Yeah, I could see it for the next decade. I really could. It really could.
It has the potential to be that. It does.
Yeah, I was about to say it just really depends. I think the Bears longevity-wise. The thing with the Packers though too is you guys are one of the youngest teams in still it's only going to get better as those players get more experience and more knowledge. And with the Bears as well, the turnaround Ben Johnson has had is insane in year 1. And if this is what year 1 is, I don't even want to know what year 10 looks like. This is me and my dad have been literally we're wake us up. We're in a freaking dream right now. It honestly feels crazy, but I'm glad they're finally back here because growing up as a Bears fan, it was a lot of doom and gloom. I still loved, repping repping the Bears. But like I said, it just feels so much better to have my Bears gear on. You know, I'm at work or I'm out and people see my Bears lanyard like on my car keys and they're like, "You're a Bears fan?" And I always be like in the past, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a Bears fan." But now I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a Bears fan. What about it?" Like if you say it with your chest a little pumped up, but it should be definitely a good matchup. And I think, you know, like I said, I think the Bears offense versus Green Bay defense is the story of the game. I don't know if you got anything you really want to add that we haven't really touched on when it comes to the Bears offense? Is there some things you would like to see Ben Johnson do?
I agree with you. I would like to go back to maybe not so much week 2 of the season, but typically we've seen, you know, that first quarter of the season, that first play, those 10 to 15 scripted plays that actually produce points. And it seems like we've gotten away from that a little bit. So if we do get the ball first and he can really have a good game plan to get us down there and score some points, that would be great because those 3 and outs are killers here lately. And you look at the last Packers game we played, right? The first half we were horrible, and then we try to come back in the second half and make it pretty interesting. But definitely those first 10 to 15 scripted plays got to be better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has to be better. I think it just needs to be executed better because that's what I'm saying. Caleb in these games on the opening drive, he doesn't look quite settled yet. He looks almost, not that he's settled, he looks like he's a little bit too amped up. It's like Luther Burden last week was open in the flat. He overshot him. I think in the same game against you guys, Luther Burden was one of our scripted plays off the start, and he overthrew Luther again. Like, just run the ball first. Caleb has said many times, and the offense in general has said, once they get that first down, they start going. Like, run the ball, get the first down, and then open up the passing game. I think just the whole thing of it, not saying Caleb can't handle this pressure. I think he can handle pressure at a high level, but the first play of the game, you're calling a pass play, and if he doesn't hit it, you know in their head, they're like, wow, I just missed. Like, just settle into the game, run the ball. That's what our bread and butter is. It's not like we're previous Bears teams that we've been watching where we can't even get a yard. Our running backs are getting 6 yards a carry. Like, hand the ball off.
Yeah, I think what Ben should do is when he's talking to him on the first play, talking into the helmet headset, he should be like, hey, by the way, Caleb, we're down by 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And then, he'll be okay. He'll do what he's got to do. Because he seems to love the high-pressure situations.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sicko for it. But let's transition. We'll talk a little bit about, the Packers offense versus Bears defense. I'll kick it off first, Jack, and then if you want to touch on the Packers offense,
yeah, sure.
The keys to taking down this Bears defense. But I'll start vice versa with the Bears going up against this Packers offense. And I think I've said it a little bit earlier in the show too, but we got to get to Jordan Love. It doesn't even need to be sacks. It just needs to be pressure up there. Don't make, like I said, last time we played the Packers 2 weeks ago, after Montez Sweat sack, which, by the way, came on the second Packers drive of the game. After that, we didn't get one QB hit, not a singular QB hit on Jordan Love the rest of the game. If they're going to let Jordan Love sit back there, bake a cake, throw it in the oven, and then toss the football, it's going to be another long day, and if not, it's going to be a shootout, and we don't need another one of those as Bears fans. So we need to get pressure on him, and like Jack's saying, with Zach Tom being out, Montez Sweat, brother, it's your time to shine. I think kind of like what you said with Gary, I think is what you were saying earlier. Montez has kind of been the same way, although it's been a lot better recently. I think he's up to 9.5 sacks now, but we pay him top dollar, and he should easily be over double-digit sacks right now as what we pay him, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he doesn't really have help around him. That's the other problem. We also brought over Dio Adengbo, which he really didn't do anything, but he was the guy across from Montez Sweat. Now we got a bunch of guys that probably shouldn't be taking snaps that are out there trying to get to a quarterback. Grady Jarrett's been dealing with that knee injury, but this has got to be a game where we get pressure. And if Dennis Allen, if you are going to blitz, you do have to make sure these blitzes are getting home. And I think it should help with Josh Jacobs being out, more than likely being out. whoever is there at running back, it's going to be a lot for them, especially what Dennis Allen does. He will line everybody up, and yes, some people will drop, but a lot are coming. And if you misstep one way, the pressure is probably getting home. So, and it honestly surprised me how much you guys, if you remember, we did blitz a lot in that game, but you guys picked it up like really well. Outside of that one quick slant where they just got the ball out fast, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that except the corner's got to jam at the receiver. But all the other developing plays, we were blitzing and not a single guy got close to Jordan Love. Like if Dennis Allen is going to blitz, which he will, he's known for it. I think he blitzes at like the 8th highest rate as a defensive coordinator. They got to get home. Otherwise, you cannot expect these DBs to guard people for 5 seconds while they're running deep crossers and corner post. It's just not going to happen. And if you give Jordan Love time, he's going to drop it in the bucket. And I think it goes back a little bit to last week on that Pat Surtain interception. The interior of the defensive line got right up into him right as he threw it. And it's little stuff like that that takes oomph off the ball, and it lets your players, your DBs, be able to turn their head around in time or catch up because the ball might be underthrown. And that's where stuff like that happens. But if we give Jordan Love too much time, that's really what this Bears defense got to worry about. You got to get pressure. Obviously, stop the run game. But with Tremaine Edmonds back, I mean, I think we're going to be just fine. Tremaine Edmonds, I mean, it is his first game back in 4 weeks, but when he was playing, this guy was having a Pro Bowl season easily. He was leading the NFL in tackles at one point. It was like the Buffalo Bills, Tremaine Edmonds. We haven't seen that out of him here in Chicago, but Dennis Allen's got him playing at a different level. So I just think the Bears' key is simply you got to get pressure on Jordan Love and not also kind of like you said with the Packers offense having methodical drives. I would be fine with that as a Bears fan. I don't want to see a 50-yard bomb in one play. If the Bears defense is going to give up points, let them march down the field and waste a lot of clock. And, because I think the time of possession is going to be a lot in the Bears' favor. But these Bears cannot be given up like last week or 2 weeks ago too. 30 seconds left before halftime, 50-yard bomb. Like that stuff cannot happen this game. The big plays got to get cut down.
Yep, absolutely.
And I don't know if you wanted to touch too, like what as going against this Bears defense. I mean, you're probably going to say exactly what I said.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on it a little bit. Obviously, I feel like the O-line is the biggest question mark for us and my biggest concern. Protecting Jordan is obviously important. Honestly, I think they've been worse in the run game this year. The Packers are. I want to say they're close to first, if not first in the league on 3rd and long, but 3rd and short, they're definitely in the bottom half of the league. Just haven't been able to win the line of scrimmage and gain those short yardage situations. So that's what I'm really looking for in terms of the O-line, and that also goes into possessing the ball and giving your defense time to recharge. Obviously, like I'm not going to turn down 50-yard bombs if they're there. Like you got to take those if they're giving it to you. But yeah, and then the other thing is just like protecting the football. Like this Bears defense thrives off takeaways. They're first in the league with 30, I believe. If we take care of the football and the O-line manages to hold up, then I think we're in really good shape. But yeah, those are the two things that I'm probably concerned about the most.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's we gotta, as a Bears fan, we gotta contain Jordan Love, and for you guys, I think Jordan Love's gonna, a lot of people, and I'm not saying he's far off the MVP conversation, but a lot of Packers fans have claimed that he is in that MVP conversation, and this is a good game for him to prove it because, those MVP quarterbacks, they'll go out there no matter what and thrive. And this is a big moment for him. But I like I said, this season, I think I've definitely underestimated him in the past. But I mean, dude, it's honestly incredible what he's done. I mean, from going from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love, I mean, obviously, I don't think Jordan Love is nowhere near those guys' thing as of now, but he's still in his young career. I think this is his third season actually starting, right? Correct?
Yeah, it is his third season.
Yeah, like he's taken the Packers in both years to the playoffs. I mean, he has one playoff win, I think, against Dallas, but other than that, I mean, dude, the guy has done his job, but this is a big test for him to see, what he can do, if the Bears, like I said, if this game goes south, he's going to have to step up and make some plays.
Yeah.
And not that I don't think he can, but the Bears are going to have to limit it.
No.
For sure. It's going to be an interesting game for sure. I think I just checked before we hopped on here the sportsbooks lines, and it is literally a pick 'em. It's right down even money for both teams. Like this is, pick your poison. And honestly, like I said earlier in the show, I think, if Luther or Rome was in this game, I would be I'm telling you, I would be really confident. But I mean, the line got up to 3.5 in the Bears' favor. But once that Luther and Rome news came out, that's when you saw that line go right back to 50-50. Like the Bears are going to need some people to step up. And Dad, I don't know if you've been thinking, but there is one guy who might be able to bring some energy. He brought it in the preseason, and that's the reason he made this team. But Jade Walker out of Texas A&M, a rookie, undrafted. He had 3 touchdowns in the preseason. He also had the game winner in OT against the Chiefs in the final preseason, and he does this little celebration where he's running on air up and down the sidelines, and he can be a game changer in this game. He's definitely going to get snaps with Luther and Rome being out. The only active receivers we have on our 53-man roster coming to this game, just listen. You got DJ Moore. Pretty good, but he's not had that great of a year. Coming off a really good game, though, against the Browns.
No love.
Alameda Zaccheaus, not doing too hot. Devin Duvernay, who is a specialist guy who returns kicks and punts. And then you got Jade Walker. That's all we have. These guys, Jade Walker's going to get a handful amount of snaps in this game, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with them.
Didn't he have the good catch in the first game with the Vikings?
No, he has not played at all. He has not played one snap.
I thought he did, or maybe it was the preseason game, and I'm like, this guy's going to be great.
Yeah, it was preseason. That's the reason he made the team. He literally made the team off of his preseason performance, which it was really good. But at the same time, you are going against most of the people he went against probably aren't even on a practice squad at this point. It is what it is, but he is a good player. And it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And I mean, kind of like Jack said, and we agree, it's the same thing for the Bears offense line. If they can hold up against Green Bay's pass rush, it's hard for corners to stay with wide receivers for a long time. And especially like Jack said, with containing Caleb Williams, you let him roll out of the pocket. That's when he's going to create plays with his legs and throw, on the run, which is his strength of Caleb Williams' game. So I think, Jade Walker, if you're a Bears fan out there, I checked the sportsbook, plus 1,200 for him to score a touchdown. I might be sprinkling some money on that. That's some pretty good odds, and I think he's gonna play about 15 to 20 snaps. And Ben Johnson's got a wrinkle up in there for him. I mean, they don't have any tape of him other than preseason, and they honestly might not even be expecting him to get in this game. But I think for the most part, we are going to run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. Because you obviously got 2 good tight ends, DJ Moore, and then Durham Smythe, which is more of a blocking tight end. But, in that 13 personnel, kind of like the Rams do, they'll run a bunch where 3 tight ends all go run routes and stuff along those lines. But it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm just trying to think, if we want to touch on any other things before we go into our last segment of the show. You got anything you want to talk about, Dad, before we hop into the end of this?
Let's split the matchup this year. Let's get this win. We need this win so bad, and we don't. Both
teams. That's what we can talk about. Actually, let's talk about this playoff race.
Well, I just one last thing before we go on to that, because it is the NFC's nuts. We cannot have a Rams Seahawks final final 2-point conversion kind of play happening where everyone's going bonkers today.
That is.
Puka's getting fined for 25 G's. We can't have it unless it goes in our favor. We can't have it.
I was about to say, and I will say for once, I do, and this could be the bias in me, but in Bears Packers games in previous years, I always feel like the Bears get the shitty end of the stick. But last time we just played you guys, it seemed like the Bears got the good side in Lambeau.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which was weird to see, but I mean, I think you could agree. There has been some really bad calls in the Bears in prior years. Granted, the Bears haven't been good, so it really doesn't matter. But I always feel like, and this, like I said, it could be my bias, but I feel like in the past, the Bears have got the shitty end of the stick in this matchup specifically. But I will admit, as a Bears fan, the Bears got plenty of favorable calls in Lambeau 2 weeks ago.
Not only that, Micah Parsons was still looking for a hold.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story of the year, though, as Packers fans. I've seen plenty of pictures and videos. It's almost every game they miss holding calls on Micah. And I will say, in defense, when we had Khalil Mack, it's this – when you're an elite pass rusher, they can't throw a flag on every play or it just kills the game. Yeah. It's part of it, Dad. Like, it happens.
Then don't hold them.
I get it, but when you are elite pass rushers, like, that is what happens. It literally does. Do you see Max Crosby getting calls every game for holding? No. When you're an elite pass rusher, and look at Myles Garrett. We just played Myles Garrett. He didn't get one hold against him. I'm sure we held him a couple times. When you're elite, that's what happens. It's unfortunate, but it does happen.
We will see.
But let's jump into the playoff race and the implications of this game, because there's about 8 teams left in the NFC that are fighting for a playoff spot. One of them is going to get left out. Obviously, you got the Rams, Seahawks, and the 49ers from the NFC West, I believe that is. They are all looking like they're going to be locked in the playoffs. They've all had a great season. I mean, anything can happen. You know, if a team like San Fran, for example, were to lose out at 10 wins, there is a chance they could easily get left out. But the way their schedule lines up the rest of the year, I don't really see it being possible. Obviously, they play the Seahawks week 18, and then they play us. So depending on who they play this week, I mean, I guess you could say it is definitely possible, but it's the NFC West, those 3 teams. Obviously, the Bucs or the Panthers are going to get that NFC South division seating, but it's only going to be one of them. The other team is too far behind to get a wild card spot. And then you obviously got the Eagles, who are going to win the NFC East in their division. The Cowboys look like they might have been playing spoiler, but with that loss last week to Minnesota, it pretty much guarantees they're out unless the Eagles literally have to lose all 3 and the Cowboys have to win their last 3. It's not going to happen either, but definitely could still happen, so you can't rule it out. And then it comes down to the NFC North. You obviously got the Bears on top right now, but it's not by a lot. It's literally by half a game. You got the Packers right behind them. And then you got the Lions, who is the last team I want to see in this playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, for all the harm you've done to the Bears, I will be cheering you on this weekend, brother. He's been playing really good these past 2 weeks. Like, he's actually looked really good. Last week, he had 4 incompletions. He was like 23 for 27, 250-something yards. If the Steelers and Rodgers can just pull a victory, please, it would make me feel a lot more comfortable. But obviously, the Bears and Packers first, they got to worry about this game. And we can kind of talk about that because I think we both can agree whoever wins this division, there's probably a 95% chance whoever wins is going to win the division. It's not for sure, but it's pretty much looks like that. And then the team that loses is the team that's going to be going head-to-head with the Lions trying to battle for that last spot. And it's interesting with you guys because let's just say you had the same record as us and you lost this game.
Yep.
The Packers would be feeling comfortable even if they lose because of that division
record.
But that tie, you guys
ties hurting us in the division, helping us in some other areas.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the tie hurts you in the division because the division record's never going to matter because you're never going to have the same overall record. Which that's why I'm saying if we both were 10-4 right now, the Bears couldn't afford to lose because it would still come down to week 18, pretty much winning you're in.
Yeah.
But for the Packers, you guys could realistically lose and at least win one more, and you're probably guaranteed in because of the division record and the head-to-head, obviously.
Yeah. And Detroit's also
They're the same as us.
They want the Packers to win this week because they can take the tiebreaker with head-to-head over the Bears, and they got them week 18. So
and that's why, it's
background just winning if the Packers win.
Here's the good news.
I'm telling you, if you are a Bears fan, before you go, Dad, I'm telling you, if you are a Bears fan, as much as we hate Green Bay, you want Green Bay to have that 7th seed. I'm telling you right now. You do not want that? Jack, listen. I'm telling you, if you guys still had Micah, if you still had Micah, it would be a toss-up. But
that's fair. That's fair. I get it.
Between Detroit or Green Bay. But now, just Bears-wise, like, you guys match up well against the Lions. The Bears do not. Jared Goff is similar to Jordan Love, where if you don't get pressure on Jared Goff, he will dice you up. And their skill guys threaten me more than your guys' skill guys. And that's why fair. I do not want to see the Lions. And on top of it, you have the Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell. Nope, get me out of there. I'm good. I cannot handle that.
I would welcome a third matchup this year.
And I think too, though, I think we all can agree it's more than likely that the Bears and Packers, they're playing each other, or the NFC North is playing each other the first round. It's probably going to happen. Unless San Fran, it depends though. Like if the Bears beat San Fran next week, it could move San Fran down to that 7th seed. But it really just depends how the Packers do as well, though. Like there's a lot of different stuff that can happen here and to monitor, but it more than likely looks like the NFC North is playing each other in the first round.
Yeah. And one other thing, like you brought up, like Detroit's going against the Steelers this week. And like they're in their own race in the AFC North. Someone from the AFC North is going to win that division. They're trying to make it into the playoffs. And I think that's what worries me about playing Baltimore next week. Baltimore obviously hasn't had a great year. Lamar's I think he's battling injuries still. But that's going to be a desperate team coming to Lambeau week 17.
I will say though, Jack, the thing the Packers should be rooting for this week, you should be rooting for the Steelers to win and the Ravens to lose, because if I don't know if you saw that, but if that happens, the Steelers already clinch.
Yes.
And it's
that would be ideal.
And then that way, when you play the Ravens next week, their season would be over, and they could play spoiler, but it's the AFC. Like they might not really care to play that much. And to be honest, dude, Lamar Jackson does not look like Lamar Jackson. I think we all can agree. That injury is definitely still bothering him, and he's just playing through it because he doesn't look anything like the player that we've seen, the 2-time MVP that he is. So it's definitely going to get interesting, but I think Bears and Packers fans should both be rooting for a Lions loss, and because all that would mean then is that is where the tie does help you guys, as the Bears and Packers would just have to win one more game out of their last 3, and you're in. If the Lions lose one of their next 2. So for the Bears, we need them to lose one of their last 2 before we play them. Otherwise, that week 18 game means literally everything. So hopefully they lose, because, oh my God, I cannot. I will be sick. The 1 year we get to 11 wins and we don't get in because of some crazy. I think it would be the second time since the 2014 where the new era where they added the 7th team. Like, it'll be the second time. If it happens to the Bears till 1 year we're good, I will not be able to sleep till next August. Like, it would be miserable. But definitely rooting for Aaron Rodgers. And you also can't count out the Vikings are starting to all of a sudden 2 weeks in a row looking really good. And they were the team that beat the Lions, and they play them again. And the Lions have to go to Minnesota. And that's what excites me about a Bears fan. I realistically think there's a more chance the Vikings beat them just because of their D-line and Brian Flores blitzing. Because, like I said, if you can get to Jared Goff, he's going to throw you interceptions, or he's not going to complete passes. He's completely immobile. He needs a perfect pocket to play, the quarterback position. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens, but Bears, Packers, they both need this game, and it's going to be electric. I mean, literally 24 hours from now, we'll be here. Both of us, all of us will be here sweating the game out, praying our team comes up top. But let's hop into our final segment. We do a cool segment, Jack, around here. I'm sure you know about it. You've been watching a lot of our shows, and we appreciate you. But in our pre-games, we always do offense, defense, and MVP predictions. Obviously, you can go with your Packers players, no harm. And then we also finish it off with a score prediction. So we'll let you kick it off unless you need some time, but we'll let you kick it off since you're the guest here.
Yeah. So do you want the score prediction first or
whatever order you want?
Yeah. Okay. So I think I alluded to some of this earlier in the show, but I think there's pressure on both teams in this matchup, obviously, given what's at stake. But I do believe that there's more pressure on the Packers. And that's just because, they have the pressure of the timeline. Like, obviously, this is year 3 in Jordan's tenure. And, they're the youngest. They've been the youngest team in the league, and they've all grown together. But, it's time to, take that step forward, I think. And that was definitely, the message that Gutekunst had sent when he made that Micah trade. And it's put them in a position to go and secure the division and get that first, home game with Jordan as the starter. I think that still has to be the expectation. With the Bears, they don't have the timeline pressure. Obviously, it's year 1 with Ben Johnson, and they've looked great. They're certainly not going to underachieve this year. They've pretty much already hit all their goals for sure. I mean, maybe there's a slight chance they miss the playoffs, but even that, I think you got to look at this season and be encouraged. But yeah, I mean, they have the pressure of the fact that it's right there for the taking. You win this game and it doesn't clinch the division, but you would have to have every result go against you the rest of the way. So I think given the fact that it's at home and it's, this city is ready for, it's been 7 years since there's been a game this big for the Bears since they won the division in 2018. I do think it's a game that they should expect to win. And as bad as I want to pick the Packers in this game, I really do.
Wow.
But I got to pick with my head and not my heart on this one. I think the Bears are going to take it. I'll go 24-20. I don't know if you want Packers MVPs or if I'm going with Bears players.
No,
now,
you could. I mean,
okay.
If you want to do Bears players, you can. But seriously, we no harm to you if you want to. Honestly, if I like that you're just being honest.
Yeah.
Because if my other 2 Packers players, they'd say, "Oh, the Bears are going to lose 31-10."
Well, the thing is I saw this, and we talked before this, but I always saw this as a split.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not going to move off that now. I'll take the Bears. I gotta,
If okay, let's just say your score prediction is obviously that, but let's say the Packers do win. Pick 2 Packers offense or 1 offense and 1 defense MVP.
I'll go Jordan. I would probably go Watson if I knew he was playing, but the fact that I don't, I'll just say Jordan. I would really like to see Matt LaFleur just, show trust in him, let him cut it loose, and like you said earlier, he's had a great year. We're really going to need him to step up and kind of carry us, just given the current state of the team. And then defensively, I'll go Rashawn Gary. I mentioned him earlier too. We need him to step up. We pay him to be a top pass rusher in this league, and we're going to need to find new ways to generate pressure and get stops on defense. Following the loss of Micah. So, I'll go with Jordan and Rashawn Gary.
Awesome. I like those. And I agree. I mean, if the Packers do win, Jordan Love is definitely the offense MVP. I think it's going to be pretty obvious unless Christian Watson has another crazy game. But I would definitely think Jordan Love, just basically playing it out in my head, if you guys do win, Jordan Love's going to be the talk of the week on, First Take, FS1, all the talk shows. So I like that. And then with Gary, like you said, you hit it right on the head. He's the next man up. He's got to now, like you said, you're paying him big money. He's had a good season, but you think a lot of that's due to Micah, getting all the attention. But now, Rashawn Gary's got to go, make some pressure. And it's definitely not easy against the Bears O-line. The Bears O-line has severely improved over what it's usually been, where you guys just dominate us in the defensive line. So it'll be interesting. But Dad, why don't you go ahead, hit us with your offense and defensive MVPs with your score prediction?
I'm going to say that in true rivalry fashion, this game's going to be flipped. It will be 28-21 Bears win, just to really make the rivalry even, like the big sparks back, right? Because you guys said it. I mean, in the past, we're already talking about draft position. So this game means a lot. But I think that'd be pretty exciting. And I will go with Caleb Williams as my MVP because he was kind of the scapegoat for the last game, right? He threw that pick at the very last few seconds when he could have been a touchdown. So Caleb Williams will be my MVP of this game. He will have a superhero throw for a touchdown at the end of the game. So it's going to be exciting. And defensively, who do I want? Tyreek is done. He's
yeah, you need to get off that narrative.
He's done. He is.
Yeah, he's like the biggest Tyreek Stevenson fan. He wants his redemption story so bad.
It's gone. The story is not going to happen. It's at the end of the movie, and it's like, all right, that guy's just an extra. I'm gonna go with CJ I think he's gonna have another good game for us. He's been having great games, so that'll be my defensive player. But the rivalry's back. I mean, as a Bears fan, we're not talking about draft position. We are excited about this game. Clearly, on both sides of the ball. From a Packers standpoint and a Bears standpoint, which I think is fun, right? I mean, when's the last time it was fun to talk about this game? Normally it was just it was our Super Bowl and we'd still lose anyways because we'd get our field goal blocked. But anyways, or last year, right? The last game of the season, and we're all excited that we beat them even though we lost 10 straight. This is what it should be, and hopefully it's a long time. And the next time they play, it'll be down in Gary, Indiana, and all the smokestacks and the steel mill fires will keep the stadium warm because the blanket of smog will be over top of it. And when you go to get out to your car in the parking lot where you tailgated at, it's gonna be gone. It'll be missing. But Kevin Warren, you keep doing that, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson is definitely, if he's your MVP, he's definitely going to need to have a good game because he was getting torched last game in this matchup a couple weeks ago. Obviously, he did have that pick early in the game, but after that, Christian Watson started taking him to town in the slot. When it comes to me with my offense at MVP, I'm going to go with – I like how you said Caleb, but I really do. I think ever since that second half and then last week, Caleb's really starting to find his groove. And even in his press conferences, he's starting to get back to that USC self in the press conferences as far as talking with a lot of confidence. I don't know, Jack, if you've seen some of the stuff this week, but he's been saying stuff like, I can make any throw. People questioning his arm talent. And, he's starting to get really, I don't call it cocky. I just call it he's really confident. And sometimes he likes to jog that line a little bit between cocky and confident. But that's how I can tell he knows what he's doing because he's never talked like this. Even after big games he's had prior to this, he's never talked like this. And you can tell he's really starting to understand the game. Ben Johnson's starting to say, everything, you can see things are starting to slow down for him, which you love to see. But I got to stick with my guns. I'm going to pick one of these running backs because I think the game plan to success here is literally pound the rock down their throat and manage this clock. Don't even give Jordan Love the opportunity to be Superman and play spoiler. I'm going to go with Kyle Monangai just because with that groin injury popping up, I think Kyle Monangai might get a little bit more carries. They've already been splitting carries for the most part, but with that groin injury, depending on how the game goes, I think Kyle Monangai might have a touchdown or two in this game. So I'm going to go with Kyle Monangai offensively. And when it comes to the defense, I am going to go with Kevin Byard. I think Kevin Byard, like I said, if Watson does play in this game, I do think Dennis Allen is going to make an adjustment of having a man constantly over the top of Christian Watson. And due to the running game, like I said, if the game goes to plan and the Packers get behind, Jordan Love is going to start taking some of those deep shots. And Kevin Byard, who leads the NFL in interceptions, he is going to continue to lead. And I think he gets one in this game as well. With my score predictions, this is where it gets tricky because I really do feel like this could be a repeat of what we did to the Eagles, but I gotta see it before I could start.
You're getting crazy now.
Some stuff like that, but I do still think it's gonna be close. I will go Bears 31, Packers 27. I still think it's gonna be a pretty high scoring game. I think Jordan Love's still gonna rise to the occasion. I just think ultimately the Bears will out-edge them in this. And I do agree with you, Jack. I know we talked even before the first matchup that we thought, based on how the season was going, we thought both teams were going to split no matter what. And, I mean, the first game looked like it could have been a Packers blowout, but, the Bears fought back and it literally came down to the last play of the game. And then I think this week, even with the injuries, that you guys are dealing with, I still think it's going to be a classic division rivalry. It's going to come down to the wire, but I do think the Bears out-edge them. But I will say, do not be surprised, and I'm not even saying this because I'm a Bears fan. I think this could be an exact replica of what we did to the Eagles and just demoralize them by pounding the ball because you keep running the ball on a team. And the reason why I think this too is in the first matchup, that whole second half, we started doing it to you guys. And that was with Micah in there and Evan Williams, who we didn't even really talk. We talked about him being out, but his impact, he's one of your safeties that will come down and hit you, where Xavier McKinney's more the pass guy. He's going to go up there and just play great coverage, where Evan Williams will come down and rock you. I actually like the way he plays safety a lot. He reminds me of Jaquan Brisker. They will come down and smack you right in your pads. They don't care how big you are. So I just think since we saw it in the second half, that war of attrition start to take over, I think Ben Johnson will start to, really harp on that early in this game, where in the first matchup, we were down 14-3. Like, he had to pass the ball. You really couldn't, do the pound and ground as you go. But I think he's going to set the tone early. And as the game goes on, I think it is going to kind of be like the Eagles game, where eventually that third and fourth quarter it comes and they're going to start ripping for 10, 15 yards a run, because it's just that's what they've been doing this year. They really have been. So we'll see what happens, though. I'm sure Jeff Hafley is going to come ready to play. And like I said, the chess match early in the game, if you're a viewer out there, make sure you're watching it, because I think it'll be telling pretty early in the game who – if Hafley can hold Ben Johnson, I can see this game being close. If it's early in the game, if Hafley's got a good plan schemed up and Ben's having trouble scoring and calling plays, I think it'll be close. But if Ben Johnson scores on that opening drive, I'm telling you, it might be a repeat of the Eagles game, where the score might still be close, but even after that Eagles game, even I'm sure you can agree, Jack, the Bears literally annihilated them for four quarters. Yeah. The score really didn't reflect it. So we'll see what happens. And I know, Jack, it's still up to you. I know you told me earlier in the week you'd love to come on for the post-game show no matter what. So if you are down for that, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. My other two buddies, it was a late show last time. We're scrambling to get the post-game in because of traveling reasons, so they weren't able to be on here. But if you want to hop on for the post-game, we'd love to have you. Don't worry, we're not like most Bears fans, like you see on Twitter. We're not going to sit here and buffoon you for the whole time.
Absolutely
we more just want to break down and analyze the game, what went right, what went wrong for teams. But I think that'll do it for this episode. Guys, as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go down in the description as well. All of our social medias are down there. Stay updated on there as well. I can even put, Jack, I'll put your Twitter in the bio as well. If you want to follow Jack on Twitter, he updates. You're active on there quite a bit with all.
Yeah, I am. I'm on my backup account right now, but
yeah, But Jack
tough.
is he's a big Wisconsin, sports guy in general. He loves the Brewers, loves the Packers, loves his Milwaukee Bucks. I think the only Chicago team you do support is the Blackhawks. But hey, at least one of the teams
team
we
in
got
Wisconsin. So yeah, my Illinois.
and it's honestly probably in your
upbringing.
lifetime the best Chicago team to
Yeah,
pick
I kind of
because
lucked out there.
I was
but-
about to say they went on that three-peat that one year. That it was pretty special. But I will make sure to put your stuff down there. Make sure if you're a Packers fan, because I know we'll have Packer viewers, go drop Jack a follow. And thank you for coming on too again, Jack. We appreciate
thank you guys
it.
for having me. It was great.
Awesome.
Coming on.
But we'll take you out in Bears fashion, like we always do here, Dad. We'll catch you on the post-game show, hopefully with the Bears victory. But until then, bear down.